At 12 o'clock, we got probably one of the best games of the day, if not the best game of the day. It's the game I'm probably looking forward to the second most outside of my Florida Gators playing today. And we got number 5, Clemson, which is 3-0, traveling to number 21, Wake Forest, which is also 3-0. Clemson favorite at 7 points on ABC, and this is Wake Forest chance to make a big statement victory. We're going to go over the game after we go over the stats. DJU, which is who I'm going to call the Clemson quarterback for all time. I am not going to call him by his full name because I can't pronounce it, and I don't want to hurt the guy's feelings. He's gone 57 to 88, thrown for 662 yards, 5 touchdowns to 1 interception. Not the best stats considering the 3 opponents he's played so far. Will Shipley on the ground has had 32 carries for 249 yards and 6 touchdowns, and he is by far carrying this offense. Bo Collins through the air has had 9 catches for 158 yards and 3 touchdowns. Sam Hartman through the air went 44-71, thrown for 625 yards, 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and has 62% completion percentage. Christian Turner, I hardly know her, has had 31 carries on the ground for 149 yards and 2 touchdowns, and A.T. Perry through the air has had 12 catches for 222 yards and a touchdown. Clemson leads the series 69-17 all time. Last 13 games have gone from Clemson from 2009 to 2021. Last Wake Forest victory was in 2008 in Salem. So at least that's going for Wake Forest. Last time they won was at home. And this game is going to be at home. Both these teams are coming off rather lackluster performances that turned out to be wins. Louisiana Tech game that was significantly too close until the fourth quarter against Clemson. And Wake Forest absolutely surviving against Liberty. The Liberty almost had the upset special last weekend. End up losing by 1 point because they go for the 2-point conversion instead of the extra point and end up not getting it. So, big Wake Forest sneaks by in a game they likely probably should have lost if you're looking at all the key factors in that football game, but they were able to sneak by in a trap game for them. They were able to sneak past that trap game. Demon Deacons look interesting, right? Clemson's offense has looked lackluster, to say the very least, through these first 3 games. They had a first close game with Georgia Tech until the fourth quarter, until Jeff Collins decided to tank. Going through those often heard about rebuilds, tank seasons for college football teams is Georgia Tech, but honestly, awful calling. Honestly, could have stayed in that game if you're Georgia Tech and just decided not to for some reason. But that was not a good game for Clemson. And then they played a weirdly close game against Furman. Like, it wasn't super close, but Furman honestly played pretty well and didn't lose by that many points. And then, obviously, the weird game against Louisiana Tech where it was low scoring until, like, the fourth quarter. The offense wasn't able to get much going against Louisiana Tech, and it just leads me to believe that this is a not great top 5 Clemson team. Now, on the other hand, Wake Forest is giving me signs to worry as well. Obviously, the game against VMI was dominant to start the year. And that was even without Sam Hartman. And then he comes back for the Vanderbilt game, and he looks absolutely dominant once again. But the problem is, last game against Liberty, he showed some serious flaws. And this was not the same Hartman that we know and love from last year, where it looked like Wake Forest could possibly be a playoff team until like early November, late October. And I still think this is a good Wake Forest team. I still think this is a Wake Forest team that can complete for playoff contention. I think Clemson, in my opinion, is the 3rd best team on that side. I think Wake Forest is going to come into home. I think Clemson's going to be a little bit overrated, and I think Wake Forest is going to punch them in the mouth, and I think they're going to win this game with Sam Hartman throwing a whole bunch of touchdowns.